Hello and welcome everybody, I'm TheJWittz, and welcome to another episode of TCG Tuesday, where I play the Pokemon trading card game online, try and show you guys a popular deck, how it works, and analyze a match. So right off the bat, I have 3 straight mulligans with no basic Pokemon. My opponent recognizes me right away, and I am playing the card-for-card list that I took to the Klaczynski Open, which is the first major unsanctioned Pokemon trading card game tournament. Happened in Tinley Park, Illinois, close to Chicago, and I was able to take top 16 at the event. Now, unfortunately, there was only a top 8 cut, but I still got half a box in prizes, which is really great prize support, especially for an unofficial tournament. It's kind of bigger than a lot of the official tournaments, but that was offset by entry fees, something that, if you guys look back at my videos long time ago, I made a video about growing the game, and this is sort of something that I wanted to happen for many years, and it was exciting. I was glad to do well, and so here's the deck. Now, I don't love everything about this deck, but I did make a lot of choices I thought were really good. I love Jirachi in this deck. It allows you to search your deck for a supporter card. It sort of saves you in situations where you would just lose otherwise. The one card I was not happy with, though, as you can see at the bottom, is the Scoop Up Cyclone. It's an okay card. It's basically a super Scoop Up, but you always flip heads. The only problem is it's bad if your Pokemon are knocked out in one hit. It alleviates damage and helps you move some energy, but otherwise not super strong. So I play the Professor Juniper. I have to discard a Rare Candy and a Superior Energy Retrieval. 2 cards that really kind of run this deck. You need the Rare Candy to evolve into Blastoise. You need the Energy Retrieval in order to get energy back, refill Pokemon like your Black Kyurem or really quickly attach to your Keldeo. So I decided to Energy Search for the water. I know the Superior's there, so why not Ultra Ball now, discard the 2 waters, and then I'll be safe to, get at least 3 energy back from my discard pile. Now this is a tough call. I could get Jirachi, save it for next turn, play it, Skyla, Rare Candy to Blastoise. The problem with that is I'm going to have very few resources in my hand. Yes, I'll have the Superior Energy Retrieval, but I'll have nothing else. I could maybe save the Juniper for the next turn, but after all that, really, it's going to be tough. And my opponent has 2 Deoxys in play. All they need is another Deoxys, a Keldeo, or a Kyurem down, attach, Colorless Machine, and they can knock out a Squirtle on the bench with a catcher. Now, it sounds ridiculous, like how could he get that many cards, but he's drawn 3 cards off mulligans when I had no basic Pokemon, so it's not out of the question. And see, already we see Colorless Machine, Energy, a Silver Bangle too, which allows him to deal 30 more damage to EX Pokemon. So it doesn't help him against my Squirtles, but it'll help him terrorize my EX Pokemon if he gets enough resources in play. And see here, we see a Team Plasma Ball. That could easily be the 3rd Deoxys, and all he would need is a switch and a catcher, and all of a sudden, I'd be out my lone Squirtle. So I don't regret using my Ultra Ball to get the second Squirtle. I still have Juniper. Yeah, I might have to discard Blastoise and another Superior Energy Retrieval, but sometimes you just gotta go all out just to get that Blastoise out. Once you get him, the whole deck runs perfectly. You use his Deluge ability, attach as many water as you like during a turn, and it is just beautiful. Powers up these insanely great attackers right away. So he's got a Juniper after playing down his entire hand, so that's a ton of resources all at once. Obviously, I'm not too happy about the 3 mulligans. It doesn't happen too often in my deck where I have a decent amount of basic Pokemon, but sometimes it happens. One interesting, though, is that thing that I've noticed is he has filled his bench by playing the Absol down. Usually you want 3 Deoxys EX in play. That way, when you've got the 30 added to Kyurem's Frost Spear dealing 120, his Blizzard Burn attack dealing 120, it's 150, then you get 30 more from Silver Bangle to deal 180, knocking out any EX Pokemon. 2 Deoxys EX and a Silver Bangle will allow you to knock out the Keldeo EX, but it will not allow you to knock out the Black Kyurem EX, which is the other EX I use as an attacker. So, Squirtle's Shell Shield ability prevents him from taking that 30 damage to the bench, but Keldeo still takes 80, which is quite a bit. 30 normally, plus 20 from Deoxys, plus 30 from Silver Bangle. So I play the Superior Energy Retrieval. It sort of stinks I'm getting 3 energy, but I can only attach 1 of these. I don't have Blastoise in play. I'm just sort of trying to use those resources before I dump them all away with Professor Juniper. Now, this is a tough choice. I have the catcher. I know my opponent has his own Keldeo. All he needs is a Float Stone to really make my catcher useless. I'm trying to think, well, what if I Juniper just hit everything I need? Rare Candy, Blastoise, 2 waters. I can knock out his active Kyurem and set him back a little bit. So I'm debating, you know, I could catch a Deoxys. I guess I do. You know, maybe he misses the Float Stone. He's discarded to switch, or I used to switch. And so I've got the Black Kyurem EX now. And I'm pretty happy with him because he can't be one-shot by my opponent. Bench 2, decide, he's got the Absol on the bench. Maybe pick 1 back up. 1 is fine. The only problem is, right now I'm looking at my hand. I have the resources for a Blastoise next turn. I can Skylight for a rare candy, play Ultra Ball, but I have no energy, no way to get more. Kind of just have to pass. So not a great position. My opponent could always get an energy on Deoxys and a Colress machine and start attacking me. That could hurt. Either way, I'm not in an awesome spot. I have the Squirtles down at least. I have a way to get Blastoise at some point, but this deck really thrives when you get a turn 2 or 3 Blastoise as quickly as possible. Any later and you can really start finding yourself losing games right away. So he does play that Colress machine, so I'm sort of just praying he doesn't play a Prism to the active. He can deal just enough, it looks like. He'd be able to deal 90 damage if he attaches the Prism to the active. And I've got 80 on me. It's just enough to deal the full 170 HP in my Keldeo. So I'm just hoping off that huge Colress for 8 cards, allows you to shuffle your hand in your deck, draw cards for each bench Pokemon on both sides. But he just passes, so no Float Stone, no way to retreat, nothing for him to do. Also, I'm not sure, he might have attached to the benched Kyurem. I might have missed that. Either way, I'm in a pretty good spot. It's weird for him to use that catcher on the Black Kyurem, considering I can just jump in with Rush In, Keldeo's ability. But I'm okay with that. So I've got Ultra Ball, trying to decide, discard Black Kyurem and an Energy, I suppose. I run 3 the Black Kyurem, so discarding 1 at this point isn't too heartbreaking. But I do what I have to do. Skyla for Rare Candy, Ultra Ball for Blastoise. Get Blastoise into play! But, unfortunately, I'm just 1 energy short of a great play. If I had 4 energy, I could deluge both of them onto my Keldeo EX, catcher up his benched Kyurem, knock it out for 130, get rid of all those tools, all those energy, and really set him back. Don't have that. Unfortunately, just 3 energy means I'm swinging for 110 with Secret Sword. I can rush in and attack. The question is, do I want to attack Deoxys in the active spot, or catcher up his benched Kyurem, hit him for 110, and just make it an easy knockout for the future? Either way, neither position is really super great. I want knockouts this turn, and I want to get rid of energies, but it looks like I'm not going to have that. Another thing that I really wish I'm having is Tropical Beach. That card normally is the heart and soul of this deck. It allows you to draw until you have 7 cards in your hand and end your turn, every turn. And so all those past turns when I wasn't getting Blastoise pieces, I could be using Beach to just draw a few extra cards. Unfortunately, I don't have that. So it does look like my opponent did attach to Kyurem, was hoping to hit a switch or a Float Stone or something, so I couldn't have been knocked out by Deoxys, but man, even then, that's another scenario where it would just help me that much more if I had 1 more energy. I could be getting rid of 3 energy, the Bangle, the Pokemon, all right here, and my Keldeo would probably be safe for another turn, unless my opponent got like a Bangle and an energy on his benched Absol. So settling for 110 damage is not great, but on the bright side, I put my opponent in a weird spot. He either has to catch a Blastoise and knock it out, or I get to swing again with Keldeo. So he can knock out one or the other, but he can't get rid of both of my threats. He can stop me from attachments constantly, or he can stop me from these immediate attacks to the active. Looking at my board, yep, he catches Blastoise. That was something I probably didn't want. I'm okay with Keldeo going down. My opponent can take 2 prizes and he'll be susceptible to N later in the game. But if he knocks out Blastoise, and looking, I've already had to discard 2 Blastoise, 2 Candy. Not good. Blastoise goes. So Keldeo can at least hold its own. I can take a prize. I always put Black Kyurem up. You never know. I might just hit everything I need, and you can rush in at any other point. I do have the end now, but I'm only ending my opponent to 5. And I got the last Blastoise in my hand. One of the recent changes I made to my deck list was adding the 4th Blastoise, and I don't regret it whatsoever. I was trying to cut corners with the 3rd. not always the best decision. I attach to the benched Keldeo EX, rush in with this damaged one, and I can at least Secret Sword, take a knockout here. And I do just that. Yeah, it stinks to have to overkill him by so much, but at the very least, I'm taking a prize. My opponent is sort of down on energy. He'll have to swing with Deoxys or Absol and rebuild a little bit, but I'm really in a terrible spot. I need to find a way to get this Blastoise onto this Squirtle. If I top decked a rare candy on my next turn, it would be incredible. Otherwise, got a little ways to go. At the very least, Tropical Beach is down now. I didn't use it because I attacked, but at least now if I'm having to do a rebuilding turn, I can end my turn by drawing up to 7 cards, hopefully finally giving me enough pieces to get another Blastoise in play. It's unfortunate. I think my last Blastoise only saw 1 turn of play, but I had to do it. Had to at least get him down. And even though he didn't really help me attach that many energy, or none at all, I suppose, I just attached one to the benched Keldeo. You gotta get him in play. You gotta force your opponent to go through him to keep going. So, Keldeo falls to Deoxys EX. I throw up the black Kyurem again. I've always got the Keldeo to switch in, and I draw. No rare candy. If I got rare candy, I would have an amazing turn where I rare candy, Blastoise, superior energy retrieval, 4 energy to the active, knock out the active with Black Ballista. None of that happened. So the question is, can I draw it off this end? I draw the Blastoise again, which is pretty fortunate, but none of those other pieces seem to add up. So on the bright side, I was talking about that math earlier. I am all okay to leave this Black Kyurem EX active. If my opponent somehow gets a fully powered Kyurem on the bench, you know, getting 3 energy and getting the Bangle on, he'll still only be able to swing for 170. So nobody's going to get knocked out except maybe Squirtle. That's my greatest fear here. I need to keep that one Squirtle alive. There's nothing I can do to prevent it. I just need to cross my fingers, hope that by ending my opponent to 3 cards that he just won't have the resources he needs. So here you finally see that Scoop Up Cyclone in my hand, and as you can tell, this is a situation where I'd much rather have Computer Search. If I play Computer Search, I can discard 2 cards out of my hand, take any card out of my deck, so I could get the rare candy right there, then use Skyla for something else. But without it, it's not really helping me right now. It's not like I can bounce damage off. I don't really have any damage on my field. My opponent plays N, which is definitely not optimal for him. Does get the Blastoise out of my hand, which was something I was kind of happy to see. I had a rare candy Blastoise, good to go, but he's only drawing 3 cards. I don't think it's going to help him that much. So my opponent can either swing me for 30, which is a lot worse with Helix Force than usual. I realize I can't remove the text of Silver Bangle for some reason. Or he can Tropical Beach and drop his hand. He's also got Thundurus EX now charged on the bench. He could retreat, attack with Thundurus EX, and cycle an energy to the bench. But either way, he's not going to be able to hit me that hard offensively this turn, and it looks like Squirtle is going to survive. And on the bright side, while my hand is certainly worse... Oh, he doesn't have to retreat. He has Floatstone on Keldeo. Rush in and switch. So yeah, now you can just hit me for 50, attach an energy from his discard pile to any of his benched Pokemon. Works out pretty well for him. But, I can at least bench a second Squirtle down, and that way you can't just knock out Squirtle and cause me to lose the game completely. That said, I need a lot to go. He decides to go for the beach instead of hitting me for the damage, which is fine. I'm okay with that play. His hand was small. I don't have another N to bring him back down, so it's time for the prayer turn. I'm going to need to knock out the active, I'm thinking, so I attach the lightning, and I'm going to Colress drawing 9 cards. Now that's a lot of cards, and ta-da! Finally, Rare Candy Blastoise. Now that being said, this is my last Blastoise in my deck. I don't run Super Rod or anything like that, so once this Blastoise falls, everything is done. So I need to be very careful. I do have my Tool Scrapper. I can get rid of those Silver Bangles, which will allow me to stop my opponent from dealing 30 extra Pokemon in my EXs. I really want to do anything I can to stop these one-hit knockouts. The Floatstone's alright on Keldeo. He can always attach another Floatstone if I get rid of it, and he can just switch at all times. I know he also runs Switch, but I think getting rid of the Bangles is going to help me more here. So I play Superior Energy Retrieval, discard 2 cards, I get 4 energy into my hand, and I can start deluging. So even if Blastoise does fall, I can at least power up Keldeo enough to deal some decent damage. Did make a mistake though, I realized. I thought for some reason there wasn't the lightning in my black Kyurem. I forgot I attached it earlier this turn. And yes, there was another water here in the discard pile. So if I were smarter and got all waters, I could have 4 water on Keldeo on the bench, which gives him enough to knock out a Kyurem if it comes up. But it's still not a horrible spot. I can Black Ballista, discard 3 energy for 200 damage. I take 2 prizes and even it up 3-3. So yeah, this situation isn't perfect. My opponent could always get another Deoxys down and another Bangle. Yeah, they need a lot of different things to make that happen, but in a perfect world, I get that water and I have 4 water on Keldeo now, meaning it doesn't even matter if Blastoise gets knocked out on the bench. That said, stopping my opponent by getting rid of their Bangles does hurt them. 30 extra damage on my EXs is pretty huge, and should be able to at least hold my own now. Ideally, I can end and hit that 4th water that I should have taken and get it on Keldeo, but if he leaves Absol active, he has less HP than the Kyurem. I can knock him out. He only has 100 HP, 3 water energy, and I can Secret Sword for 100. So now it's the waiting game. Does he have a catcher? Oh no, he Junipers! So I realize he discards all kinds of things. He did have another Floatstone and Switch, so I'm glad I discarded the Bangles instead. He could have just played another Floatstone or Switch. And I'm looking through his discard pile. He has played a lot of resources, but only 2 catcher, I think. Let's see, double check that. Yep, 2 catcher. These decks usually run 4, so I'm really hoping he doesn't have one. He plays the Bangle, so he had a replacement Bangle, but him attaching the Bangle has me hoping, yep, he can only hit me for 150 damage. And I say only, that's a ridiculous amount of damage still. But it looks like by living, I can swing for a knockout and actually take the lead on this turn. So here I've got the Jirachi EX in hand. I could end him back down to 3, but because he didn't play the catcher, which I assume catcher Blastoise would be the play he really wants, I think I'm safe letting him draw. Now one thing I am considering is if I do Skyla, I could show you guys that Ace Spec card, show you how it works, and try and save myself. 150 damage, while it doesn't knock me out, it does put me in perfect range of a Frost Spear knockout on the bench. I really don't have that many cards left in my deck, I realize. I've been drawing through a lot, having to play a lot of Junipers. Why not? I'm gonna go get the Scoop Up Cyclone, which allows me to just pick a Pokemon up right back into my hand. So Black Kyurem EX, boom, there goes all that damage. I do have to bring 1 Lightning back up, and I don't have a Water ready for next turn if I have to knock out a Kyurem for any reason, but I mean, that just reset Black Kyurem altogether. Trying to debate, you know, should I bench another one? Should it matter either way? I'll just leave the one on the bench. Secret Sword, knock out Absol, take my prize. And so, even though I didn't really start that quickly, this deck can really pick up steam once you get Blastoise in play. That said, I really need to cross my fingers. If he hits catcher and can knock out Blastoise, that could hurt me a lot. But he is starting to run out of resources. He's only got 1 energy on the bench, 2 energy on the active Deoxys, and because I've been able to power up so many powerful attackers with so many energy all at once, I was able to even this game. So he attaches Reversal Trigger, which is interesting. It seems really powerful. If one of your Plasma Pokemon are knocked out, you can search your deck for any card and put it in your hand, which is really strong. That's essentially the effective computer search, but I don't know. I'm not completely sold on it. So he ends me to 2. Thankfully, I have my trusty Jirachi, and I can't wait to show you guys because I love this card. It does give up... Oh, I clicked past his attack, but he Helix Forced me, only for 120 damage. Can't knock me out. And here, I can really show you the beauty of Jirachi. Now, playing him down does give me a 90 HP EX Pokemon on the bench, but I'm okay with that because my opponent, if they really want to win this game, they're either going to have to knock out my Keldeo or my Blastoise. Targeting Jirachi won't help them in any way. I have that last Juniper. All I need to hit is the Superior Energy Retrieval, or I guess the catcher if he did end up putting up the Keldeo, but he didn't, or the Kyurem. Hate those K Water EX and strong Pokemon. I don't know. I've made that mistake too many times. But, ta-da! Use Jirachi, use Stellar Guidance, get the Juniper, get the Superior Energy Retrieval, and just like that, I'm able to take the game. So, I was in a really bad spot, but all of a sudden, I have all these energy. 1 Blastoise is able to carry the load for all my Pokemon. I can retreat with Keldeo, deluge all these water energies to my benched Black Kyurem EX, Black Ballista, his active Deoxys EX, and that's the game. And even if you did have one of his one prize Pokemon, I also got the catcher, so I had to draw through almost my entire deck. I had to discard a lot of valuable resources really early in, but I was able to have just enough to take this one. So that's my deck. I did well at the Klaczynski Open. I went 5-2. I ended up losing to Ross in 3 games. He ended up getting 2nd place. He also played Blastoise. And I also lost to Kazambolt, I call him online, with Plasma in 2 games. So Plasma isn't always a winnable matchup. If he hits those catchers or sets up a little bit faster, my Pokemon get knocked out really quickly. But I just wanted to show you guys how my deck functions. I'm really happy with it. I'm excited for Blastoise in the next season. Next Destiny's On is going to be a fun format. And I can't wait because the new Pokemon season for 2014 is going to start soon. So as always, thank you guys for watching TCG Tuesday. Let me know if there's any decks or any questions that you have. And I will see you guys next week.